been incredibly fortunate that somebody's kindly offered me a Feeder Masters ticket, and that's where I am today. I'm at the Hallcroft Fishery, which is not far from where I live. It's near Retford, and I'm here to try and qualify for this year's £12,000 Feeder Masters final. Well, I've been told there are a few fish in that area, peg 87, Moat Outer. Just to let you know, a bit of context, I haven't fished here since, well, I've done 2 coaching days here since the Winter League last year, and as a lot of you will know, fishing here in winter is completely different. You know, fishing with Richard Vaughan in the Feeder Masters pairs, and it's all bloodworm and joker and that sort of thing, but today is going to be very, very different. Yesterday there was an open match here, and Lee Kerry won it. He came along just as a bit of a recce, just brought his feeder gear apparently, and he won the match, but he's won the match with £198, and he was on peg 84. I've drawn 87. So yeah, just going to go and get my dad. My dad's over there, he's just been to the toilet, so I'll see you over there at the peg. It's an area where I've drawn in the winter a few times before, but like I said, today the fishing is going to be very, very different. It is 13 degrees on the van, bright sunshine. I expect we're going to see some carp cruising around, but today's all about targeting carp, so I'll see you down at the peg. Just about set up now. There's about 10 and 15 minutes to the off. Mr. Vaughan secretly mixing behind his vehicle. Don't think he's seen us. We're just about set up. There's a few minutes to the off. Drawn next to my winter wingman, Richard Vaughan. Richard's there. I'm here. Looks alright. There's plenty of fish around on the top, as you'd expect on a day like today. So I expect we're going to be getting 1 or 2 liners of fish cruising about. Really simple approach. I've got a target carp. There are obviously skimmers and bream here, which obviously we'll take. So I have got a line set up for them, but it's a line that, you know, will catch carp as well if there's any there. This is the peg 87. There's fish around, as you can see. Looks lovely, always does. Bit of context for you. That platform there that I'm going to cast to is exactly 40 metres away, so I'll give you an idea of how wide it is. The biggest issue we've got here is the margin. They've been catching a lot of fish down the margin, as you'd expect. Lee obviously won the match yesterday with all his fish down the margin. Obviously the fish are in the shallow water, that's what happens this time of year. Unfortunately, I haven't got a margin really to fish to. The lead on my left can't go to his left because of some reeds, so he's going to have to fish to this margin here, to this platform here. Myself, I can just about see the platform. If I stand out here, you can just about see the platform, which I can obviously fish to, but that is the only platform that Richard can fish to because he can't go to his right. So me and Richard are sharing the same platform, which is rubbish. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Obviously there's a bit of vegetation and stuff here, which all looks nice, but I don't know if the fish are going to come in and settle in any numbers so close to me, to the peg. So that's for shame. But anyway, I'm going to be casting across, so I've got a rod clipped up for 40 metres right underneath that platform. I've got an 11 rod set up for that, but there was a little bit of wind when we first got here, and it was far easier and more accurate to get across there with the 12-foot rod, which is the XC. It's a little bit overkill, to be honest, for 40 metres, especially with a method feeder, but it's a lot more accurate, so I might find myself using that just because it makes sense, you know. I've got a line clipped up at 11 metres, and that is with I'm going to fish that with a little feeder with a short hook length with a banded pellet. Obviously that'll catch any bream that are there, but I can also drop the method on that line as well. So I'm going to feed that not with any ground bait, just pellets, micro pellets and some 4mm pellets and a little bit of corn, but that's it. So that's 11 metres, and then I've got some form of a margin line later on, and I might even, depending on how it's looking, put a line in just down the slope, down the shelf, about 5 or 6 metres to one side, but they're decisions I'm going to have to make during the match. Kit wise I'll show you, because you'll all be asking. I've got a feeding rod set up. This is the 11-foot Fox Warrior. No, it's not, sorry, 10-foot Fox Warrior, 3-pound test curve. I've just got a 5000 horizon reel on that and a big feeding feeder. That's for fishing and feeding the margin, not for fishing it, for feeding it if I need to put a volume of ground bait in, which I will do down this margin at some stage. I've got an Horizon XS Slim set up. That's the one that I want to fish a little banded pellet on with a short hook length. I'm going to have to change, not that one, because that is a free running rig, as you can see. Nice simple free running rig, short hook length. But I'm going to have to change my methods because these are set up to fish with fixed elasticated feeders and they're not allowed here, they've got to be free running, so I've got to change those in a moment. So I've got an 11-foot method and a 12-foot method set up. Both, well, one's on the XC, one's on the XS Slim, so that's basically 10-10, 10-foot 10, and that's 11-foot 10. That'll just allow me to get across if that wind gets bad. And this is obviously an 11-foot method feeder that I can just drop anywhere, short, long, wherever. That's a good thing about that. They're both set up with new Horizon reels. I've got the power landing net handle set up, the Aquas 4 metre. The fishing here run big, so it's a carp landing net, as you can imagine. Bait tray is super simple, still putting it together. I've got some 4mm pellets that I can feed. I'm going to feed them in with some micros, obviously fishery micros, fishery pellets. You can only use fishery feed pellets here. I've got some corn. I've got a mixture of hook baits, some pellets for banding. That's for feeding short, and I've just got a bit of a glug there if I feel I need it. That is it. The only other thing I've got with me is some worms, because I know that sometimes you can catch on a full dendra down the margin, so that's obviously an option for later on if I want to try that. But I'm going to kick off with the method right across after having fed this 11 metre line, and then just keep my eyes open. I can see pretty well down there what's happening down there, and that way as well. We're just going to fish more match really. Like I said, the biggest issue is this margin, but we'll find out how important that's going to be. But if not, obviously I've got shallow water to fish, but it's 40 metres away, so if I can't catch down this margin, hopefully I can catch in that margin across there. All my feeders over now, they're all free running rigs, so that's alright, that complies with fishery rules. Didn't talk to you about ground bait. I know a lot of people will ask. I've got quite a bit mixed up because I plan on feeding a margin with it. Plenty of ground bait there. I know you're going to ask me what that is. It's been put through a sieve. That is, the vast majority of that is probably about 75% Special G green. There's a little bit of Karma in there as well, and then it's topped off with Ringer's Dark. So I mean, Special G green is a really strong fish meal mix, which, you know, strong smelling mixes can be great down a margin, obviously for drawing fish in, and it's quite a light colour as well, so obviously it gives it a bit of a visual effect, so that any carp cruising past up and down this near shelf, you know, it's something that they can see or will stand out better on the bottom. So that's it, fingers crossed for a good start, and I'll see you in an hour. Fish everywhere, isn't there? Cruising about, see them. Just twitching like that. Well, we're just coming up to 2 hours now and it's fishing ridiculously hard. There's loads of fish out there. They're just cruising around. Just under the surface, everyone's getting line bites from them, but you just can't catch anything down on the deck. I've got two skimmers, two small skimmers. Lad on my left, he's got one big skimmer. Rich Vaughan on my right has just hooked his first fish, which was a carp, but unfortunately he's lost it, he's pulled out of it. Next angler down is Jason Lebosky. He's not had a bite yet. But we've heard about 8 pegs, 10 pegs to my right. They've caught 1 or 2 carp. There's loads there cruising about, but it's just not happening at the minute, so I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing. Hopefully this rain's not going to continue, and yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know if we're going to catch any fish close in late on, but I guess we'll find out. He's just snared one underneath that far bank. He spent ages fishing over there, but he's finally got one. The lad on his left has just had one as well 5 minutes ago. I just haven't had any more fish. There's 2 hours left. I've got 2 skimmers, that's it. This is my first cast back across now underneath that platform on the other bank. Richard on my right, he's just had 1 skimmer now. And I think Jason Lebosky on his right has either got 1 carp or he might have 2. It's just odd fish all the way through. I've fed heavy down this margin to my right now, underneath these brambles, and I've fed at 5 metres just in front of me as well, quite heavy. Like I say, at the moment I'm 40 metres away underneath that platform, just to see if I can get one across there, but going nowhere at the minute. Obviously hoping some are going to rock up in this last 2 hours. Just really seen odd fish all the way down. Oliver Scotthorne and Alan down to my right. I think they've got 2 or 3 maybe between them, but yeah, it's still fishing hard. I think as well, it was nice to see tip move. Well, it not being a liner anyway. Yeah. They'd be alright if they were every choke, wouldn't they? Well, there's an hour and a half left. It's not got much better, to be honest. I've had a big skimmer, and I've just had a carp about £6. Just pulled out of a carp as well, but that were foul hooked. Problem is, you know, the way I'm casting, obviously my tip is there, just under the surface. I'm casting across there to 40 metres underneath that platform. It's only a couple of feet deep over there. So as you can imagine, my line is going right through the top foot of the water, and that's right where all the carp are cruising through. So, you know, earlier on I was getting loads of indications just from carp, and it was moving to feeder, you know, fish that are cruising around in the middle. But that's why I came off it early on. But no other option at the moment. But I have had a carp over there. There's an hour and a half left. Not much else has changed here. There's one carp on my left, one carp, two to my left. Richard's not had one yet. The next one along is Jason Lebowski to the right. He must have about 3 now. I'm sure he's got 3. I haven't got much enthusiasm or faith pinned in this margin line, to be honest. But I am keeping it fed. Keep topping it up with a big feeder, with some ground bait and some pellets and stuff, a bit of corn. And I obviously keep looking to see if there's any swirls. Just fed it underneath these brambles here to my right. I haven't got loads of faith in that line, to be honest, but I am feeding it. So I'm just going to stick on this line now and just see if we can salvage, you know, anything. Well, we're into the last 45 minutes now and it's gone quiet again. I got those 3 carp across, then just went quiet. Had a couple of liners after that, but no signs that there were actually fish over there where I'm feeding. Had a quick look down this side. Richard on my right, he went short. Lots of fish. Yep, another carp. Hmm? That was the biggest one of the day. It's a double, I don't know, £12 maybe, might be a bit heavier. Don't know what the total is now, £30 plus maybe, 4 fish. There's still some fish being caught down to my right, about 6 pegs, 8 pegs to my right, but I think this is going to be the line if I'm going to catch any more. So I'm just going to stop on this now, 30 minutes to go. No more fish. I can't believe I didn't get one late on. I really fancied it over there. I've had a couple of liners, the last 2 casts, but proper liners where they proper hooked up on the line and they've moved the feeder, and I've picked up nothing there, but you just saw a massive great big bow wave. I think that first 3.5 hours might cost me some section money, to be honest. I'm not caught at all, and tactically I don't think I got that bit quite right. I really thought that 11 metre line we were going to catch some fish. You know, I thought we were going to catch some skimmers, some bream, but some carp, you know, the odd carp as well, and it's just not produced. All the fish have been shallow, and probably should have stopped on that line right across from the off, but you know, I kept getting liners and it just didn't seem right, and I didn't catch on it anyway, so not had any signs down this margin. But Richard's ended up catching, he's caught a small carp down there, about £3. A big skimmer and a perch, I think, but that's it. The other side of him is Jason Lebosky. He reckons he had £40, but I know he just had another fish, so he must have got £45 plus. But we know that Eddie Bradden's caught some fish right down there in the distance on the very end peg. They reckon he's got over £100 on that end peg. I don't know if he's caught down the margin, and we think the end peg down that way has caught as well. So yeah, you know, the best I think I could have hoped for today would be, you know, the 10 peg section money, but I certainly wasn't going to get over £100. But we'll find out after Eddie's weighed in exactly what's been caught. Yeah, it's been alright. It's been nice to fish with a method feeder, and nice to have a bit of a tussle with at least 4 carp anyway. It could have been a lot worse than that. I'm going to get some kit packed away now and wait for the scales to come down. Well, that's it. I've weighed a little bit more than what I thought. £41.7 they've actually gone, so those carp were obviously a little bit bigger than what I thought. Amazingly, we thought they caught further down there, down on that end peg. Darren Cox has been down there, Neil McKinnon, Brett Clark. We were told they were catching on the end peg. As it turns out, Neil McKinnon's won this section. I was the first peg in this section going that way. Neil McKinnon's won the section with £44, so I've ended up second in the section, which, to say I've sat for 3.5 hours without a fish or without a carp, rubs salt in the wound a little bit, but it shows that, you know, what I have done, maybe it wasn't that far wrong. If all those other anglers down there have had less than me, so yeah, that's a bit upsetting. I could have got the section there, extra £3, but there we go. That's how it goes. It's been alright. I've enjoyed it. It's been nice to come and fish this venue in the summer months. Usually I'm here with Richard Bourne, I know a lot of you know, and we will be fishing that winter league here again this winter. So if that's something you want to be kept in the loop with, then don't forget to hit subscribe. Yeah, the next time I'll be here, certainly won't be dressed like this, and we will be on with Bloodworm and Joker and Leam and all that sort of business, but that's a completely different ball game. Feeder Masters for me means I've ended up with, I think I've got 3 more tickets now, thanks to some very kind people out there offering me tickets. I think I've got the River Trent, Patswell Park, and I've possibly got the last one at Southfield Reservoir as well. So if you don't want to miss them, just hit that subscribe button just there. That way you'll be kept in the loop with all future videos. Loads of different variations of videos coming. And if you want to see videos that are a little bit more in-depth, ones that are a bit more behind the scenes, then you might want to check out my other video channel. That's at the link just there. That's called Patron TV, and that's where I really go into depth about preparing for competitions and all that sort of stuff, and just kind of more detail about how my match went and what I think I did right and what I did wrong. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video, where hopefully I will be reporting some success for you.